So, magnetizing Imperial Knights. This is probably one of the best examples of where magnetization is something you want to consider. Knights are obviously expensive. I mean, you've got a single model that has several different possible weapon loadouts. It costs a lot of points on the table, but more importantly, for magnetization, it costs a lot of pounds or dollars or euros or whatever your local currency is. So buying one model, magnetizing it so you can run it as whatever loadout you want, because the knights do look really cool with their different weapons. Like, he's got his fist, he's got his Gatling gun, we've got the battle cannon or whatever it's called over here. It really does make a difference, and it's so easy to do. This is really one of the most easy magnetization jobs. Now, if you've watched my Armiger Knight magnetization, you'll see how easy it is. It's very similar in regards to the shoulder joint. Not quite the same, but very, very similar. What you want to look at is, so I've got my instructions for my big Chaos Knight here, and all the knights and all the weapons are really, really similar just because of how they work. So if we bring this up and try to tilt it so that it's not so bright, there we go. So you can see you've got parts B5 and B6, and they go around parts A83 and A84, and they form that joint, which is what you basically make the gun around. So what we want to do is to replace that little orange piece. You can see it there, hopefully it's coming across as orange. Replace that with a magnet, and then put a corresponding magnet inside the gun, and then everything's fine. Now, it's so easy to do that I'm going to show you how I did it very quickly. So here is our effective shoulder joint. So this is the bit, and if I pull this piece over here, here's one I did earlier. You can see that the core of that is this piece, and in this one I've already cut it off and put the magnet on. You can see the shininess of the magnet. So what you do is you take something like this, which is the Tamiya Craft Tools saw. You can see how thin the saw blade is. It's very good. And then all you do is saw that off. Now, you could take it off with clippers if you wanted to, but the saw blade gives you a nice clean cut. Then you want to file down the base of that and make sure it's nice and smooth, and glue your magnet in the middle. The magnet in this case is one of these ones, which is 8mm that way. So that is 8mm, and then it's 2mm thick. So a stack of those, and then you basically glue it onto that, and then you build the shoulder. So this is the shoulder joint of an Imperial Knight. Not, by the way, the Chaos one. It is from another Imperial Knight. Again, not that one. A different one. I've got a few Knights. I do like the Knights. So once you've got your shoulder made up, it's very important that you start off with the shoulder, and I'll explain why right now. The shoulder is going to be your key, effectively, for all your Imperial Knights. Every single magnetization you do on any Imperial Knight, you use the shoulder as a key. And what that means is any gun will fit onto the shoulder. So I can take his Gatling gun and it fits on that shoulder. Yes, I haven't actually glued the armor plates on. I'll get to that in a minute, why those aren't glued. And you'll see the same with that. Now obviously that's backwards, but so that's your shoulder, that's your key. So to do your weapon, you take the pieces that would be the gun's joint. So they would effectively, as per the instructions, you would get this, right? You'll see that's a lovely, lovely, lovely. But what we want to do is replace those with magnets. So conveniently, very conveniently, this hole is just under 8mm. So if I take my 8mm magnets, you'll see that they don't quite go in. So it's probably not coming across that they don't go in unless I force them, and by forcing them in, it basically means that that is not. You can hopefully see the gap. So what we do is this is the equivalent piece of this for the big whippy lightning, not claw, but the big melee way. Hang on. You can see that this is basically the same idea. You've got your core piece that goes up into the shoulder, and then you've got these three pieces that form the sealer. Actually, there, you see it there. It's the blue bit at the bottom there. So all we need to do is make this up. And now I've already filed on the inside of this just to show you, but you take your knife and you just run it around the inside like so. And what that, you just very carefully do that, and that'll take millimeters off. Actually, you don't even need millimeters. It's literally about 0.2 of a millimeter, so it's like shaving. Just shave it until it comes off. So how would we then put the magnets on? Well, this is why we've got our shoulder done first, because all we do, put the magnets on that, take the piece that you're from the gun that you want to magnetize, and push the magnets into it, and you'll see that that is practically a perfect fit. Now there's no glue in that, and you'll see that I can do that and pull it on and off, and it's fine. You can see that that goes in flush. That just needed a little bit of glue. I'll be able to get that magnet out later using a larger stack of magnets and just there. So that'll come out. If you can't get it out again because you have just about removed enough that it's a really super tight fit, then it doesn't matter because it doesn't come out. The guns aren't that heavy. Realistically, the guns aren't that heavy, so if it's a press fit and a big stack of magnets like that isn't pulling it out, it'll be fine. But to actually glue it on, what I would do, and I would always do it this way, is put a little ring of glue just around the bottom of the two magnets, and then when you push it in, that glue will go over the rim of the piece, and the other magnet will pick some up, and that'll just glue it in, and that's all you need. It's just the tiniest bit of super glue. But that's how you magnetize the guns. Then you just build a gun as normal around what is effectively that, but with magnets. So it'll go together. You'll see that this piece is practically identical to the piece that's in this gun. So hopefully you can see there, those two are identical, or they're very, very similar. So you can see there we've got our magnet inside it. So it's trivially easy to do this. Then for the knights with Carapace weapons, you'll see that those are magnetized, and that is literally just a magnet. That's a 12 by 2 millimeter, and then I think inside that, I can't remember, I did this so long ago, but I think it's a 6 by 2, and it just forms a nice little click, and that's all that takes. And the same token, the little gun, and that'll work on the Castellans and stuff, the bigger daddy knights. Call that a mummy knight, baby knight, mummy knight. Oh no, we're going to baby shark, right? Right. Magnetizing, just a reminder, do the shoulder first. Always do the shoulder first. That gives you your key point. And then the guns are ridiculously easy. Soft and nub, glue a magnet on. As you can see, that's slightly off center, but I'll fix that at some point. And then use your shoulder joint as your key to do all your weapons. And the holes are nearly 8 millimeters. You just need to open it up slightly. You could use a file if you're not happy using a knife. If you're a little bit younger, filing it down, just remember to use nice circular motions so you get the whole thing nice and even. You don't want it to be oval shaped. And if you do too much, green stuff is always your friend. Green stuff or milliput. And then put a little ring of glue around the sort of bottom outside of the bottom magnet. Slide it in, then slide that off. So you don't ever want to do where you're putting the magnet in and then trying to pull it off, because you could pull the magnet out before the glue dries. So pull it in, slide it off, and this with two magnets is that complete flush fit. I would say they designed it like that, but it's Games Workshop we're talking about here, and I don't think they did. So that's magnetizing Imperial Knights. One of the easiest magnetization jobs you can do. Really no fuss. In fact, I went completely overboard and magnetized that. I magnetized that. I've had to stop myself magnetizing the heads. I magnetized the Carapace weapon. I have also magnetized the waist because I thought it would be easier for transport. I think I'll just take that off and glue it because I don't think that's needed. I really don't. It's complete overkill. I did that in there. I don't know. Sometimes I overthink things. Anyway, that's magnetization of Imperial Knights. Easiest thing you can do.